let's talk about it. So, today I want to talk about a topic that's never spoken about. And when it taught, is taught on a level that is ridiculous. And that topic is eugenics. Something that is really been expunged from the American psyche. You've heard me, I assume by now, talk about progressives and the Fabian Society, but why is it important that we understand what progressives are and do? It's important because progressive ideas have a history of killing people. I know that sounds rather harsh, but sometimes reality is harsh. Not all progressive ideas, but certainly some progressive ideas. And it is a matter of fact, of history, that the eugenics movement was born from the progressive age. So let's talk about this eugenics program, or eugenics movement, whatever you want to call it. This country was largely progressive, largely, and I mean on a scale that's unprecedented. The interesting thing, and in fact, there was a period of time in our history right after this that is difficult to explain. FDR was the political leader of the progressive movement in the United States. He was elected 4 times. We truly were a progressive country. We had better baby contests in pretty much every small town across the country. Better family contests, where you would win prizes for your family's genetics. It was disgusting. But we did it. We did it a lot. And, basically the only time you hear this thing brought up now is in the abortion debate about Margaret Sanger. And she was a eugenicist and a racist. The interesting thing is, bad as those qualities, if you want to call them qualities, of Margaret Sanger were, she was a moderating force in the progressive movement. Because the ideas that were being bandied about by this movement were far more extreme. And if you really want to get into the weeds, you have to understand that eugenicists wanted to build gas chambers to rid society of the unfit. And when I say they wanted to do this, it was just like Nazi Germany. It may be not politically correct to say that out loud, but it's true. In fact, Joseph Mengele, a horrible human being, was educated in the virtue of using gas chambers to slaughter people on a large scale before he went to Auschwitz. It's disgusting. So, after the eugenics movement was well established in the United States, it spread to Germany. California eugenicists began producing literature promoting eugenics and sterilization and sending it overseas in German to German scientists and medical professionals. By 1933, California had subjected more people to forceful sterilization than all other United States combined. The forced sterilization program, engineered by the Nazis, was partly inspired by Californians. The Rockefeller Foundation helped develop and fund various German eugenics programs, including the one that Joseph Mengele worked in before he went to Auschwitz. Upon returning from Germany in 1934, where more than 5,000 people per month were being forcefully sterilized, the California eugenicist leader C.M. Goethe bragged to a colleague, You will be interested to know that your work has played a powerful part in shaping the opinions of the group of intellectuals who are behind Hitler in this epic-making program. Everywhere, I sense that their opinions have been tremendously stimulated by American thought. I want you, my dear friend, to carry this thought with you for the rest of your life, that you have really jolted into action a great government of 60 million people. That's a progressive talking about the Nazis in glowing terms. Harry H. Laughlin. Eugenics researcher Harry H. Laughlin often bragged that his model eugenic sterilization laws had been implemented in the 1935 Nuremberg racial hygiene laws. He bragged about it. In 1936, Laughlin was invited to an award ceremony at Heisenberg University in Germany, scheduled on the anniversary of Hitler's 1934 purge of Jews from the Heisenberg facility, to receive an honorary doctorate for his work on the science of racial cleansing. Due to financial limitations, Laughlin was unable to attend the ceremony and had to pick it up from the Rockefeller Institute. Afterwards, he proudly shared the award with his colleagues, remarking that he felt that it symbolized the common understanding of German and American scientists of the nature of eugenics. Henry Friedlander wrote that although the German and American eugenics movements were similar, the United States did not follow the same slippery slope as Nazi eugenics because American federalism and political heterogeneity encouraged diversity even within a single movement. In contrast, the German eugenics movement was more centralized and did not contain as many diverse ideas as the American movement. Unlike the American movement, one publication and one society, the German Society for Racial Hygiene represented all German eugenicists in the early 20th century. After 1945, however, historians began to attempt to portray the U.S. eugenics movement as distinct and distant from Nazi eugenics. John Entine wrote that eugenics simply means good genes, and using it as a synonym for genocide is an all-too distortion of the social history of genetics. policy in the United States. According to Entine, eugenics developed out of the progressive era and not Hitler's twisted final solution. So, what we have is a president elected 4 times, America largely a progressive nation, and then after World War II, progressives disappear. What happened? Did they all suddenly stop being progressive? No. What happened was they hid because Americans saw what was going on. We saw the evils of Germany, what Germany had done to millions and millions of people. And they saw that the progressive movement was supporting the German Nazi efforts. You couldn't be elected to any office as a progressive at all. So what do you do if you're a progressive? You hide. Well, in California, they hid under the guise of being liberals, even though nothing, and I repeat, nothing about a progressive is liberal. Progressives are illiberal. So, along comes Ronald Reagan, who was a Republican from California. And for him, progressives were liberals because that's how they hid. And he was correct in fighting against their ideas. He was incorrect in calling them liberals. But he certainly made the case for being against liberals by painting liberals as progressives. Unfortunately, liberals and progressives are not the same at all. So, in that regard, he did a great deal of harm just to the vocabulary of our political dialogue. But the progressives did not go away. They just hid. And you'd be surprised. The last vestiges of progressive influence when it comes to eugenics, I think happened as late as 2010. I'm not sure of that date. But it's not something that is from our distant past. These people are insane. They were sterilizing people recently by force. I just find it unacceptable that we're not taught this. Our children are not taught this. Because the professors, the Marxist professors, well, they're not really Marxists. They're largely fascist. And all you have to do is look at the kids that they're churning out, the activist children of America, who join Antifa. Antifa, of all names, to fight fascism, and they are absolutely fascistic. I don't know. I just think that people are going crazy, and if you don't understand the past, you're doomed to repeat it. And we certainly don't understand collectively, there's a word, the past. We think that we played no part, but we did. We played a huge part in what happened in Nazi Germany. It is sad that the movement that promoted the Nazis and the horrifying behavior of the Nazis is today getting more powerful. Anyway, I wish everyone to have a nice day. See you soon.